This episode, I'll be talking about why the Russians invaded Ukraine. And does it mean that Putin's government has failed? What exactly caused the fight, the war, and the invasion towards the Ukrainians? Let's get to it. So, have you ever wondered what exactly caused the fight between Russia and Ukraine? Or did everything just pop up in the news and boom, they declared a war between Moscow and Kiev? But what exactly caused this fight? In the preceding months, Russian officials accused Ukraine of Russophobia. This is like a strong dislike towards Russian and Russian things, especially the political system or customs of the former Soviet Union. They also made multiple security demands of Ukraine, NATO, and non-NATO allies in the EU. So with all these, commentators and Western officials describe this as attempt to justify war. So now this question now emerges. Why did Russia not want Ukraine to join the NATO? By the way, if you see me looking down, I've written some things down to be able to, give you guys a clarity of my points. So, why did Russia not want Ukraine to join the NATO? NATO is like a powerful military alliance. So, on November 28th, Ukraine warned that Russia has massed. That means they've brought like a troop. They've massed nearly 92,000 troops near its border, and speculated that Putin is the president of Russia. If you are unaware, Putin intended an offensive attack at the end of January or early February. Also, Russia accused Ukraine of military buildup of its own and demanded legal guarantees that it would never join NATO. One of the many excuses Vladimir Putin has given for the invasion to the country next door, that is Ukraine, is that Russia and Ukraine should be one nation, and these two countries should be under his benign rule, meaning that he wants to control Ukraine also. Meanwhile, Ukraine has her president. So it is kind of, he wants to rule two countries, which is, I don't know. How do you feel that is? Isn't it kind of stupidity? Do you still think that? Because now Zelensky, which is the Ukrainian president, Zelensky's troop has swept thousands of Russian invaders around Kharkiv province, and also Zelensky's triumphant sarcasm was justified. This is to say that Russia has already strategically lost the war with Ukraine, and it is a more diminished power in the world stage. In my own perspective, I say this is a war of artillery and attrition. Attrition in the fact that the deals has been removed from a lesser country. But is that really the fact? In an interview with Admiral Sir Tony Radakin, the head of the British Armed Forces, said that Russian president has used 25% of his country's army, but achieved only tiny gains. Russia will never take control of Ukraine. More so, the Russians have become vulnerable because they are on their own, whereas Ukraine has countries to support them, like the States, the Britain, and France, and many other countries. So, those countries to also send support, solidarity, either by aid or by military advancement. This is a disaster for Putin, I'm very sure. But Putin is still very deceptive. He had this beguile, hoodwinking character, very deceptive, and still insists that Ukraine should never be permitted to join NATO, the world's most powerful military alliance. But what is so wrong with Putin? So someone will ask sarcastically. Not even that. You may just ask inquisitively, like, what is wrong with Putin? Why does he? What is his concern? If the worst happens and Putin assumes the entirety of Ukraine, what will happen? Putin's objective was to take over Ukraine and transform it into a satellite state under Russian influence. It is now blatantly obvious that Ukraine may not be able to gain full control over the entire country. Yes, because the Russian troops has also been able to invade and destroy some parts of Ukraine. So, but it will remain. But Ukraine, if Russia invade the whole of Ukraine, Ukraine will still be an independent nation or state, and more importantly, it will remain a state that will challenge Russian influence in the region. But the most important question, and here is be the final point, will remain: what lesson do Russian leaders draw out of this conflict, and especially Putin himself? The debate is not whether Putin has failed strategically, but whether it will be obvious to the Russian decision makers and Putin in the future that this was a disaster. Yeah. Will they also know, will they remember that what they've done is a disaster? Because countries have removed themselves from partnering with Russia. The US has removed themselves, so they are on their own. Whatever feeding, whatever export, whatever trade they are on their own. They have no country, no neighbors to support them. Poland, Romania, no country. So, would they realize that what they've done is a disaster? And it would be difficult, very laborious, to join close together to make amends for their mistake. You should also remember, Putin, the Ukrainians should also not forget that Putin might be able to snatch victory out of defeat if the Western Ukrainians do not come to a very decisive conclusion, which is what is going to happen after fighting is over in Ukraine. So, to continue this discussion, please drop your comments in the comment section below, and let me hear your take about this debate. So, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.